Does your family help you financially? Did we go over budget? As for what our budget was, are you selling it, are you renting it out, or are you living in it? What's up everybody, it's Natalie and I am filming a very big Q&A. Is big Q&A the right word? I don't know, but I'm filming a Q&A. It's going to be very useful because in my future videos, whenever people ask me questions, I'm just gonna be like, oh, let's redirect you to the video, because I have been getting so many questions about the renovation, about the house, and there haven't been too many house updates lately because it's a lot of electrical and plumbing that they're working on right now, so it doesn't really have to do with anything that I can like show you guys, but still been getting a lot of questions on the renovation Q&A, so I am so excited to answer any of your questions. And I asked you guys on Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, then be sure to do that. I recently just purchased a 1950s home in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am going through the process of renovating this house, and it's like a complete gut renovation. I have a before house tour and also a like framing house tour where you really just see like what we're doing to it. You really just see like all the walls torn down, the rooms that we're making, our plan for it, the vaulted ceilings. It's so different. So if you guys want to watch that, I'm gonna have that link down below. Let's just get into it because I know that this is going to be a really, really lengthy one. So I'm just gonna beat you to it and answer this question. Are you selling it, are you renting it out, or are you living in it? And I have not answered this question because honestly, I am not 100% sure of anything. So I just didn't feel like answering it because I feel like on YouTube, people really use your answers as weapons against you in a way. Like say that I'm living in it and then I don't. If I say I'm not gonna live in it and then I do, it's like people get really confused, people get sometimes upset. So I'm just like, it's just best to not answer until I'm 100% sure. I just wanted to put it out there. I'm not 100% sure. As of now, I am 95% selling it, 5% living in it, 0% renting it out. So this is not going to be a rental. This is either going to be a flip or I'm gonna live in it and then we'll sell it later. But I will say from the very beginning, I bought this house as an investment. I knew from the very, very beginning, this was not gonna be a long-term home for me. If I did live in it, it would be for like a year or 2 years. You know, it wouldn't be for an extended period of time at all. At least in my plan, who knows, everything can change, of course. But I bought this home with the intention that this would be an investment for me. Now I am leaning on selling it because of safety. To be honest, to be completely honest, safety is a huge thing. And I just feel like as a 24-year-old, gonna be 25 when the house is done, 25-year-old living by myself in a house that I have already gotten DMs that people know the address, which is really, really annoying, that I don't feel safe in it. Like, to be honest, it's not like an apartment that has a doorman and, you know, there's security. Like, I just feel very, very weird that people have already sent me where it is and that they know where it is, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. So I feel like I probably won't live in it for that reason, just honestly for safety. But who knows, maybe I'll live in it for a year, maybe I'll live in it for a little bit. I don't really know, because obviously people that find the address, they might not have bad intentions, but it still scares me a lot. It doesn't change the plan at all, and the answer is still I don't know, but I'm definitely not renting it out to people. How did you find contractors? This one I have gotten a lot, and this answer is going to be annoying and it's going to not be that helpful, but my parents are in the housing industry. My parents have been building and renovating homes for like 10 years now, so I just didn't have to find contractors. I really did use everyone that they have been using for, you know, the past decade. So that's kind of how I was able to easily find people and trust people. And I know it's kind of unfair and it is annoying, especially for those of you who don't have that, which is most people. But just being honest, that is what it is. A recommendation that I did ask around for, asking other people, what is the best way to find contractors? The number one thing is to vet a lot of them. Talk to multiple contractors in your area and get a quote from every single one, just to compare the prices, also to compare your communication styles, to compare how you like the person, because you really are gonna be working with them a lot, and then also asking for recommendations. Sometimes there aren't really good recommendations, especially if you don't know anyone in the city or you don't have friends that are going through the same process as you, but the best thing I would say is to just ask around, Then gather a bunch of contractors and quote them. See who fits your description best and who you think would be best to work with. That would be my best advice on finding contractors. Next one is all things budget. How much was your budget? Did you budget? Did you go over budget? Budget, yes, 100%. The most important thing that you need is a budget. Like if you are going into a home renovation project, I don't ever want to make people think like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. This looks so fun. Let me just get into it and let's just get started. Let me buy a house and all of a sudden start renovating it. You have to budget very, very intensely. I have a budget on literally every single thing that the house needs. And the budget is going to be a great reference on how much you will actually be investing into the house, how much this is going to cost you. And then when you think about how much profit you'll actually be able to get out of this, a good estimate based on what the market is looking like, you can see if it's worth it or not. A budget is crucial. I have seen people that have renovated houses and kind of just did it on a whim, like, oh, that needs renovation, and kind of added up to the budget as they went, but didn't actually have a concrete plan and didn't know ahead of time the exact number that this house will cost or the renovations will cost. It can get very messy, it can get very slippery. You need a very detailed Excel spreadsheet way before you begin renovations. This isn't something that is just like a fun little project. This is a lot of money that is being poured into something that you don't want to mess up. As for what our budget was, I will be making an entire budget video once the house sells. So whether I live in it for a year and then I sell it, or whether I sell it right away, I'm not making a budget video until the house is officially sold. This is for a lot of reasons, but I just don't feel comfortable putting it on the internet, all the expenses, before I decide to sell a house. Be patient with me, guys, but I would love to make a budgeting video and with actual numbers once the house is sold, and that way I can show you what my investment was and what my return was. As for did I go over budget? Yes, I did go over budget, but in the budget, I accounted for 20% going over budget, if that makes sense. So once I added everything up, you account for a percentage of error, and so I did do 20%, and so I'm not over that budget, you know, but I'm over the initial budget that I thought. So it does fall in that room for error, which obviously you don't want to go in, but honestly, that is just, you kind of have to expect some stuff to be messed up, some things to be delayed, some things to cost more than you anticipated when you are going into something like a home renovation. Nothing is like set in stone. There's potential to, you know, spend more money than you originally anticipated. So definitely including that in your budget is also really important. Did you get a loan? Yes, I did get a loan for this project. I call this a project, what I'm doing. So I did get a loan from a bank. However, you do have to put money up front. So I did put a bit of money in the beginning and then got a loan for the rest, and I'm paying that off every single month. And also with the interest rates being so low, I felt very comfortable getting a loan, and also I was approved for the loan, obviously. Yeah, but getting a loan right now is one of the best times to get one because the interest rates are very, very, very low. So borrowing money is really cheap right now. Would you ever turn it into an Airbnb? No, Charlotte is not like an Airbnb market. I feel like I would just never pour this much money into something that for a short-term rental. If I was in a place that had a lot of tourism or had a lot of, you know, cool Airbnbs, then maybe I would consider that as a project, but it's just not something I'm really interested in, and I don't think Charlotte is the best market for like pouring money to making something into an Airbnb. Would you do anything differently? As of now, no, but we are literally like halfway through the process, so I don't know. As of recording this video, I would not do anything differently. I'm very happy with the way everything is working out, and nothing is like very unexpected. But again, I say that with you guys needing to understand that like my family's in this business. This sounds very snobby. Oh, like keep mentioning that, whatever. I just want to stress that because I have an advantage. My parents knowing what are the unexpected surprises. My parents knowing how much this will cost. Contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, all of that. I don't ever want that to come across as I'm not able to, you know, share my opinion because of that, because I hope that what I'm saying to you is still like helpful. But I know some people are probably gonna get annoyed at that answer, so I'm just putting it out there now that I just have to include that because I feel like I'm very lucky that I have the people that can tell me like what the unexpected surprises are and how to avoid them. So as of now, I haven't had anything too unexpected. As of now, I don't really regret anything, but whenever you're dealing with construction, whenever you're dealing with renovations, there are always things that come up, and there are always so many surprises and so many mess ups. So I'm sure that I will encounter some of those along the way, but it's always a lesson learned. Do you feel weird knowing that the house was the same for so many years and making a lot of changes? No, I knew that this would be a renovation from the very beginning. This was a 1950s house. It was very, very old. Hasn't been touched since the 1950s. And there were so many things that were not up to code. Like, so many things that you like kind of have to get it renovated. You didn't have to do a gut renovation. You didn't have to do the extreme that I was doing, but you did have to change some things up because there were just some things that were not up to code. And also the owners knew that this would be a renovation. They were giving, the realtor was even giving ideas of what to do. You know, they're like, oh, combine these rooms and do this. You know, they were even giving ideas of like what they would do in a renovation. So whether they expected it to be a complete gut renovation, I don't know. But the realtor, the owners, everyone involved knew that this would be definitely a renovation and that I would be completely transforming the house. And the owners had contacted me and they were like, can we see the house when it's done? We'd love to see it, because they actually found my YouTube channel, which is really funny. So they even asked to see it when it's done. So I feel like some people were a little like upset about the renovation on the internet, but trust me, no one else involved in the process was. What is the toughest part about renovating an old home? Having everything up to code. So that is definitely one of the things that is really difficult, because a new home obviously has things up to code for 2021. However, the house from the 1950s, so much has changed. So a lot was not up to code. So making sure that you have a very, very, very thorough inspection, and you have the inspection done before you even purchase the house. It's not like you buy the house and then all of a sudden you have the inspection. You have the inspection done before the purchase is finalized. So making sure that you do your due diligence and inspect the home with literally every type of inspection that you can think of to get, because that is really, really important. We found a lot of things that we figured would be, you know, that we would need to we figured that would be out of code, but there were also some things that we didn't know. Like, we didn't know necessarily that the roof was gonna need to be completely replaced. We thought maybe we could like patch it up or fix it, but it needed to be taken off and a whole new roof to be put in. So that was one thing. Also, something else that we learned when we were, you know, tearing down the walls was that there's no insulation in the house, like none. So in the winter, this house would get freezing. So your heating bill was probably so high if you didn't add insulation. And a lot of houses in the neighborhood might not have insulation, but that's something that I definitely wanted to include. So, you know, adding that as well. So many things that again weren't up to code. So just things that are old are more prone to, you know, having a lot of things that are wrong with them. So that's just something that you need to kind of keep in mind. Original timeline for the house, I want it to be done by summer. And so the original timeline is to be done by April. Now it's looking more like May, and the reason for the delay is because of the suppliers. For example, the windows, which is one of the first things that like needs to happen. Like, you can't put the floors in before the windows. You can't really do anything before you put like the windows in, and the windows aren't coming until the end of March. Everything else is pretty like speedy, I guess, after that, but just suppliers are backed up. Not like, one, because of the pandemic, but also I think there's just so many more houses that are being built and so many more people renovating that less people working at these places. Like, suppliers are really backed up, and so they are taking their sweet time, and so the windows aren't coming in until March 31st. As of now, so there have been some delays by about a month. Next question is, does your family help you financially? So does my family help me with this house financially? No. And I've gotten a lot of questions like that, because like my sister is with me in every video. My mom, you know, like my whole entire family is very heavily invested emotionally into this project. And again, it's just like I said, they're helping me out with this in the sense that they've been there and done that. But they're not financially helping me in the sense of they didn't give me money for this renovation. They didn't give me money for the house. Like, they didn't contribute their own money into this house at all. They've contributed their knowledge and their expertise, which has probably saved me thousands. That, I guess, they've helped me with, but they haven't actually like given any money or contributed any money to this house. How do you feel about increasing home value in the neighborhood? Or I've gotten some questions about gentrification. So this neighborhood has been a very, very like, I would say like upper middle class neighborhood for a very long time in Charlotte, literally since like the 1950s. So I am not in a neighborhood that is being gentrified. It's not like an up and coming neighborhood, if you will. It's just a neighborhood that now that Charlotte is having way more people move in, this neighborhood is getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people from like the Northeast and from other parts of the country are moving to Charlotte and they're looking at this neighborhood. So I would say it's more of, as Charlotte's value increases, this neighborhood's value increases, and a lot of houses in the neighborhood are being renovated or have been renovated from, you know, their 1950s home to a more modern look. So I'm really just bringing it up to market. It's not like there's new houses being built in this neighborhood. These houses are pretty established. They've been there for a while, and I'm just renovating it and, you know, bringing it, making it more modern. It's not in like an up and coming neighborhood. It's in a pretty well established neighborhood, I would say. And also I got some questions about what neighborhood is it. I'm not gonna say again for safety. I feel so weird, like, because I do, like, obviously if it was just like me and a friend chatting, of course I would say it, but I feel weird posting this on the internet. Anyways, it is just in Charlotte, North Carolina, and yeah. Those are the questions I'm going to answer. I hope that this helped. Again, be sure to subscribe for more videos with house updates, more videos with the budget whenever that house sells. When I sell the house, I'll be going through the process of selling a house, like all of that stuff. I already have videos on how to save to buy a house and also how to find a house. So people are asking me, how did you find this? How do you know that this house was the one? What were you looking for? How much did you save? All of that stuff. That will be in my other video. Be sure to go look at my other previous 2 videos for those that content. But I hope that this helped, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, be sure to follow me on Instagram so that maybe if I do a part 2 of this before the house is done, then you guys can participate. But I hope that this helped. Again, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.